Ali Abdulaziz is back, and it might be worse than ever, ladies and gentlemen. His greed and personal business interests are once again hurting his fighters' reputations. Let's break it down. I won 3 out of my last 4, only losing in an exhibition fight. I have to fight for the belt. Dana White, I am ready. Is that what we're calling it now? Is that why Poirier got a title fight off of beating BSD, despite losing to Gaethje because it was an exhibition? It doesn't look like an exhibition on Wikipedia, pal. And 2 of those 3 wins were Rafael Fiziev, who is a relatively good matchup for Gaethje. If you're going to tweet as a fighter that you represent, at least make them look good and stay consistent. Gaethje said at the press conference that he would ideally like to fight Islam next. He wants to get to the belt, but he said very specifically that he wasn't going to argue about him deserving it more than Charles or Arman. Justin Gaethje is super likable, very down-to-earth, entertaining fighter, the whole deal, and Ali is fucking ruining it for him. Only about 50% of the people I've seen on Twitter know that Abdelaziz runs Gaethje's social media accounts. This has legitimately hurt Gaethje by making him look delusional. Magomed Ankalev, I believe later that same day, retweeted a Gaethje edit. Ali obviously forgot to switch accounts again. He can't keep getting away with this. Khalil Bumtree upset, I beat his daddy, let's go Jamal. Didn't spell Jamal correctly, but whatever. And this is because Roundtree was somewhat emotional in between rounds 2 and 3. I did the exact same thing. I went, huh, Alex dodged a bullet there. It was stressful stuff, and that's simply a sign that you're invested, right? I would be more surprised if someone hasn't had that kind of moment. Like, it's maybe not the greatest example or comparison, but after Holloway Gaethje, they panned to the fighters in the front row and everybody was yelling and saying holy shit and putting their head in their hands. Khalil is a good dude. Maybe a bit more emotional outside the cage than other fighters are, but there's nothing wrong with that. And just like how we're going to get to Yuri in a second here, these are beloved fighters. And you're picking on them on Twitter, you're not helping your fighter's popularity, you're actively hurting it. Your manager and my manager have a good relationship, we can let them handle that. See you soon. Ali patting himself on the back here is fucking gold. Yuri is a terrible fighter. I think you're a fraud, and so many guys deserve it more than you. Like who? No one else in the top 5 is coming off a win. Depending on how bad Blachowicz looks, Olberg might not even deserve it. Jan has had double shoulder surgery, and if Olberg takes him to a back-and-forth kind of nothing decision, he won't be ready. MMA Joey, like always, has been deceitful on Twitter, right, saying that Nikita Krylov should be next because he's ranked 8th, and Roundtree was 8th when he fought Pereira. That's just a completely false equivalency, because Alex fought at 300 and 303, burned through contenders, and was going to be the headliner on 307 because no one else wanted to fight in Utah, and God forbid Pennington versus Pena was the main event. Big Ank wouldn't show up on short notice, I think it was about a month, maybe 5 weeks, and he wanted to be on the UFC 308 card in Abu Dhabi. They weren't going to load up 308 with Poirier and Alex, they wanted to spread their star power out a little bit. So they looked a little bit down the rankings, and they found a guy who would make for a stylistically interesting action fight. And that's what it was. Everybody afterwards thought it was a great fight. Maybe not fight of the year, but the fact that Roundtree was winning rounds, taking it to Pereira, it was great. Ankalev, as much as I want Nikita Krylov to get his win back, I think it'd be so funny, has contenders. He has options. Pereira rematch, Yuri Prohaska, the winner of Jan Olberg, the winner of Hill Roundtree. Some of these guys are going to have to fight a second time to get to contention as well, but Ankalev winning has blown the whole division wide open. He's also trashing John Jones, which under any other circumstance, I'd be okay with. But if we remember who exactly Ali Abdelaziz represents if we look deep in our memory banks, Islam Makhachev. The only other guy right now vying for that top spot is John Jones. The pound-for-pound list is illegitimate, doesn't make any sense. Why is Pantoja so low? It's fucking stupid. It's mainly a marketing tool, but it can also be used as a negotiating tool. As a manager, or as a management company, having the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter just sounds really good. And me personally, I think John, a little bit of his ego wants him to be pound-for-pound number 1. He's brought it up to Dana before in the past. So Dana can pit John Jones's as well as Islam Makhachev's management against each other, using the pound-for-pound list as leverage. Dana personally only rated Makhachev above Jones after the Renato Moicano fight. Things make no sense. So if Jones wants to regain some legitimacy, Dana offers him the Aspinall fight from a slightly better place. Ali Abdelaziz shitting on Jones isn't about Jones being a shithead, it's about promoting his guy. And all of this shit puts me in a really weird position, because I want to root for these fighters. I've talked about it in other videos. I like Gaethje, I like Makhachev, I like Beneil. Despite what people are saying, I don't hate Ankalev that much. He has a cafe, I think that's pretty endearing. But seeing Ali Abdelaziz succeed as much as he did at UFC 313 makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit. Because he predicted this. I'm going to pull up the tweet. I don't know exactly when it's from. I'm sure it'll say here. Makhachev should fight Gaethje after he beats Hooker, or Beneil after he beats Moicano. We knew he was going to push for this fight. If Gaethje was anybody else, he would have to get more wins. It's true. He's a great fighter. On a one-fight winning streak. Who has shit the bed in title fights against grapplers in the past. Everything is working against Justin Gaethje. So it makes me think that Ali is somewhat setting up Gaethje to boost Makhachev's prestige and legitimacy with a easier title defense than maybe an Arman or a Topuria or an Oliveira. I think those are harder matchups for Islam Makhachev than Justin Gaethje. Not like Justin's gonna throw the fight or anything, it just seems like a bit of a foregone conclusion. Gaethje at the post-fight presser said that he would have to fight the perfect fight to beat Islam Makhachev. When has Gaethje done that in the past? He's always been hittable. His takedown defense is good. His chin has now been cracked again. He proved some people wrong with the Fiziev fight. But I think Makhachev might hit harder than Fiziev, and he can mix in the threat of the takedown. Gaethje's wrestling is good, but is it Dagestani good? Has he improved a lot since the Khabib fight? That was his prime. That was the best Gaethje was going to get. Now we're a little bit on the downswing, right? Still phenomenal, but Makhachev's in his prime. He matches up well. Justin has issues with submission defense. Seems a bit silly at this point. Oh, and it gets worse. Ali Abdelaziz is now in the boxing business. Why couldn't he just represent a power slap fighter or something? With the announcement of the TKO and Saudi Arabia Boxing League, Ali has thrown his hat, his big, massive, comically sized hat, firmly in the ring. So we can look forward to him being this boxing league's manager of choice and ripping off a whole new subsection of fighters. Let me know your thoughts on the Ali Abdelaziz situations, plural, in the comments section below. It's now a trilogy of videos, so check out the first two in the playlist in the corner. Shout out to Hello NPC and Shauna for becoming vampiric enjoyers. You too can get your name read out at the ends of videos just like them. Like, comment, and subscribe for more MMA content. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't give Ali Abdelaziz your Twitter password, and have a good time.